Hi, I'm Kevin from James Movers, and we are going to be uncrating a C2X Yamaha grand piano today. We've got some tools we're going to need. Razor blade for cutting the straps, 19 socket, there'll also be a 3/4, and a Phillips screwdriver. There's also the socket for this too, which we will get from our tool case. 1/2 inch. So when you are cutting the straps, hold it tight from the top and cut. Otherwise this can smack you in the face. So after these are removed, we'll take off this top and expose the piano. Okay, so we've taken off the 3 secured bolts and come to the end of the crate, and it has those. These connect the 2 pieces of the crate. So we'll take the top off. And there's a really fancy way of doing this. Really fancy. This side's already been done. There are a couple screws here to take off, or 1 screw. And that lifts off and exposes the parts, which is here, and the bench is secured with a strap right there. This is ready to go. So I want to take these out right away. Let's get uncrated separately. Those are the legs. Here's the lyre / pedals. And again, molding the strap and bench. Okay, we're going to uncrate the legs now. So, cut the seams. I got the crate on its side so they're all lined up. Now they're all attached from a piece of cardboard here. I just pop the wheels out, bring them up, and pull them out as such. Pedals are pretty much the same. These are your bolts, you're going to need those. Okay, just like that. So when you take out the bolts from the package, you have 2 different sizes. The long ones go in the back leg for the back of the piano, where the curve is, right there. And the lyre pedals have their own bolts and they're already attached. So when I put the back leg on, the bolts are inset from the dowel, or the dowels are inset from the bolts. So I want to make sure that my dowels are lined up. And I always start with the top bolt and just hand thread it in. If you use an impact or a drill, you could cross thread, hurt the bolt. start with the top one, get that started, and that can just hang there. And then I feed the second one. She's good to go. And then I crank it tight with the ratchet. Stop it anywhere.
Yeah.
So when I put the top leg on, I just rest it on my shoulder, feed the bolts in, make sure the dowels are correct. It only sits on there one way. So I tighten them up, hand tight, as far as they'll go. Leg stays there. Got my ratchet. Snug. Now you'll see these are the lyre support rods and they're facing up right now. They need to be facing this way. So what we do, remove the free bolt that's there. It's a screwdriver with a screwdriver there, and then we just turn these and then reinstall the screw. So we've turned the turned the lyre support rod sideways. Now we're reinstalling the screw into its original hole. That's where it lines up with the lyre. The one thing you want to make sure is that there is a bracket that stops the pedal from going further, and you want to make sure that's on the front of this bracket. Otherwise these pedals, the pedal support rods will stay out quite a ways. Like they'll stay out about that far and they won't be able to sit in nice and tight like they're supposed to when they're about to be moved. Also want to check that this dowel is not out of place on the lyre. Usually it's good, but once in a while you'll find that's been popped out of place and it's easy to line it back up while it's on its side. Okay. Put a pad under here because as this rolls down, that is gonna lower this corner and you never know which way it's gonna shift. So I like to put a pad under there. Okay, so we're gonna tip this down now. When we go down, this wheel has to be up like that. Otherwise, if the wheel hits sideways or if it's like that, it'll shift quickly and you can jar the leg and then you have to repair it. So make sure the wheels are flipped upright like that. And so we're gonna lower it down nice and slow. Now, touch the one leg, boom, and the way it shifts. Good. Now what I like to do is make sure that the other leg that we're gonna put on is ready. Got the dowels facing their way. You guys listening. On 3, 1, 2, 3. So hold up. That's gonna get the leg ready.
Yes.
Okay, as soon as the legs are on, you can set it down. Keep a whole hand on it just in case, but it will sit on its own. Feed the bolts in, and she's basically uncrated. So you'll notice that there is a plastic wrap here. If you don't know by now, that is to keep the lid from opening while it's on its side. If you take this off while it's on its side, the lid will open and then you're in for a repair bill. So do not take that off until it's on its feet. Okay, so we got the Yamaha pedals. I'm gonna lay them on their back here. If you're on hardwood floors, you wanna put it on a sheet under or a pad, slide it back, and then stand it upright. There are 2 dowels and 2 bolts to line up. I like to go down and line the dowels up. I get my fingers under the bottom of the pedals. Line the dowels up. Gotta line my bolts up. I thread in just 2 turns, and that holds the lyre there, and then it dangles a little bit. I can lower my support rods. I put my fingers under the pedal again, push it all the way up, and then that secures that makes sure that the rods are where they need to be. And then I tighten each wing nut. Done. Okay, so when you've uncrated a piano, there are a bunch of things inside to make sure that nothing's getting bumped around, clapped together while you're on the road. A bunch of padding here. This is tied down so that's not rattling around. This is tied down to the rest of the music rack. You've also got a piece of tape here to keep the key cover down. Once you've accessed the key cover, you will notice when you try to play it, all the keys are stiff. That's because the action is tied down. Now, this music store has asked me to leave it as is. The technician's going to do that. So this is tied down, the action is tied down. To access that, pop out that. It's just held on by some grommets here on the ends, right here and here on both sides. You take out the bolts here, which will remove the cheek blocks, and then with the video over here, this strip here pops up, and then the action can come straight out. You untie it, and in reverse order,